Hello and welcome to my continuing Alaska tourist flights. Today is part 10. We are at the ramp in Nome, ready to taxi out for departure to Kotzebue. This is about 160 miles to the north, and weather should be good enough. We are ready to taxi. Take a quick listen. Oops, sorry.
If the aircraft cabin risks pressure, the panel above your seat containing oxygen mask will open on.
That's just so cool. Okay, we're ready to taxi. Take a quick look at the route. Okay, so we filed direct to setup intersections, RNAV, and then from there transitioning to NISCI for the DME ARC for the approach and to runway 9 at Kotzebue. And like I say, it's about 160 miles total. It's be about 130 miles to set up. So let's get this flight going. Okay, so cabin crew have finished all their announcements. I like to listen to those, but in this case, we forgoed it. So brakes released. Departing on runway 28. So turn around here and back taxi a little bit. Now what's interesting, this is actually the second time I've done this today, this flight, and even though the FMC recommended and accepted flight level 200 as our filed altitude, it does not show up at all on the FMC on the legs page. And my theory is that it doesn't show it because, as far as it's concerned, we may never actually get up to it. I don't know. It's interesting. This is the shortest flight I've ever done, 160 miles. So I don't know if something is snafu, but we'll see what happens. So I still need to set up the MCP. I need to get auto throttle on and flight directors on and arm both LNAV and VNAV. I have that plane command, the free version, which allows you to do voice commands, and she's pretty good. She'll raise and lower the gear, and you can change it to male or female.
Approaching 28.
Which actually, I've been using the female version, which is kind of strange because pilot not flying here, and Zibo's 737 is male, but such is life. But she's supposed to be able to do flaps.
On runway 101,100 feet remaining. Flaps.
Yes, thank you, X-Raz. We're not going to take off this way. So I'm going to go ahead and do flaps myself. This is, she was reminding me. Takes 3 clicks. Yeah. I don't know if the Pro version offers anything different, like specific Zibo aircraft are so widely used, I'd be surprised if they don't. But in any event, I'm setting the flaps myself. So they are now set. Boy, that was kind of close.
On runway 28.
Okay, so let's get lined up. Oops, not got it. Oversteered there. Hello, come on. Golly. All right. Parking brake. Oh, we still have runway left. Alrighty, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some lights on. Floodlights are just great. Lighting is just so fabulous. Oops, that's enough. The other one I want to get is this one right over here. The main panel. And while I'm at it, might as well go ahead and get the overhead on. Okay, that's good enough. So, oh yeah, that's plenty. So let's go ahead and arm auto throttle. Arm both flight directors. And let's go ahead and arm.
On runway 28. On runway 28.
Go and arm VNAV and LNAV. Yeah, LNAV's an odd thing in this aircraft. It's supposed to arm on the ground. It probably will activate once we're airborne. I believe what will happen is heading select here will probably come alive. So 089 is our course on the approach into Kotzebue. Our VU2 is 131. And 015 is more or less a course to our first fix setup, 130 some odd miles. So I've set 020 in the heading in case we need to go to heading select momentarily. And I'd say it's a possibility it may engage LNAV right away. It may engage heading select. I'm not sure. So let's see. The other thing I want to do, let's get terrain going over on this ND, and I need to get the weather going on this one. Actually, TCAS is off because well, let's see. Let's try plane command here. Squawk 4735.
Transponder set to 4735.
Thank you. That works. Okay, I need to go to TRA. Now we get traffic. I'll use her to raise the gear too, but that's about all. Okay, 0327 local. That's 727 or 0327 UTC. It's
On runway 28. On runway 28.
It's 727 local. Let's get the lights on. Oh, we need to do a takeoff message here.
Let's prepare for takeoff, please.
Okay, and we'll get a nice message up here saying the cabin is secure.
Okay, the cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Right for that. Thanks so much, you two. Okay, so let's get all lights on. And I'm going to go ahead and get the start switch to continuous. Going through a couple of cloud layers. I'll get the strobes on. Everything else looks good. Take a quick look outside. Looks good. All right, let's get the chronometer going. So I'm going to go ahead and add power up to 50% or thereabouts. I stabilize, then go to takeoff power. Using the mic button is what's been programmed to give takeoff power. I guess it would help if I release the brakes. Okay, they look good, so go ahead and hit the mic button is what takeoff power adds. Okay, yep, heading select is armed.
80 knots. 80 knots. V1 rotate. Positive rate.
Gear up.
Landing gear going up.
400.
Okay, heading select is still active. Let's get the nose back down a little bit.
1000.
Okay, VNAV speed is now live. It's commanding 230 knots because of flaps. Let's see if she'll work. Set flaps 1.
Up to flaps 1.
Okay, we need to turn toward the north. Set flaps up.
Flaps going up all the way.
I wish I could find the command for gear off, but I've never seen it. Gotta do that manually. Let's watch our heading here. Or bank angle, I mean. Yep. What I want to do is roll out here on this heading, because we're a little fast. Then let VNAV and LNAV take over, or at least heading select take over. Yep. A little overshot the heading. So, Command A is going on. Okay, so it's getting back to our heading. Now, setup is showing a 015 course. So it looks like we're a little bit to the right. I don't see. I'm going to try LNAV. We may not be on intercept course. We're more or less paralleling it right now. So I'm not sure what's going on with LNAV. Okay, we're about to leave 10,000. Should command our econ climb speed here shortly. So I'm going to run the range out. Oh, that's interesting. Why this fix showing on the... There's the LNAV track, but this fix is not on the track. Actually, it was on Navigraph and I removed it. Here's a FMC message.
That's why you're in your seat. Please keep your seatbelt fastened at all times.
Cabin crew announcement.
And for everyone's safety, please make sure all your personal belongings are free and clear in the aisle. You may now use all approved personal electronic devices. We'll be serving a variety of complimentary drinks as well. There's wine, in addition to their other alcoholic beverages for purchase. And we'd like you to sit back, relax, and enjoy our service on tonight's flight. If there's anything we can do to make it enjoyable, please don't hesitate to call upon us. Thank you.
So this is kind of strange. I'm going to run the range back down again. This fix, BAIME, was what I originally flight planned on Navigraph. And yes, we have commanded econ climb speed 288 knots. Top of climb is in about 10 miles. Using reserve fuel, I've pretty much figured out that if you calculate or enter more than fuel reserve that apparently it thinks you should have, it uses it off and then goes to regular fuel. I have no idea where reserve fuel is kept. So I just cleared it. I've got WebFMC running on my tablet. It's kind of cool. So yeah, this is strange. Actually, looks like yeah, I don't know. This is really strange. So we will intercept the LNAV course, but in about 40 miles, actually a little bit more than 40 miles. And maybe it'll activate then and be kind of nice. We're just about our topic climb, going to standard pressure. Yeah, the WebFMC, yeah, it was voted plugin of the year, which kind of got my interest up.
1,000 to go.
1,000 to go, confirmed. And the big reason I went ahead and got it is because it's such a world of difference to use your actually hands to make controls like you would if you were in the real aircraft. You'd be punching buttons on the FMC, and you can do that now with this utility. Okay, so we are now on the path 50200. FMC is commanded now on the power channel. Heading select is still in command. LNAV is on as far as the MCP is concerned, and VNAV says we're on the path, so that's all looking good. Setup is 0351. About 15 minutes from now, 96 miles to it. So I'm going to kind of play it by ear. This heading looks pretty good for right now. And what I'm guessing is going to happen here is it's as we actually approach the LNAV path, it'll actually engage and activate. And as soon as we get past this fixed BAIME, I'm going to go ahead and make a cut further to the right. And I need to make I forgot to make the welcome message. Doggone it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, we've reached our cruising altitude. Looks like we are anticipating on-time arrival. You're going to head and turn off the seatbelt at this time. Just remember, if you are in your seats, keep your seatbelts fastened in case we do experience any unexpected turbulence. Enjoy the flight, and if there's anything we can do to make your ride, let a member of the crew know.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take up, let's see, maybe 10 degrees to the right. Haha, this is interesting. Heading select is not active, even though it shows it on the PFD, it's not active. So I'm going to go ahead and activate it. And everything arranged back down here a little bit. Okay, the white double dotted line is what the aircraft is currently doing. So it looks like it's going to engage the LNAV track a little more than 10 miles. Bring the range in just another skosh. So let's just go ahead and go another 5 degrees. Alright, okay, I've got Kotzebue VUR on number 2 nav. It's showing 109 miles. Econ Cruise. While we're waiting to get closer to the LNAV track, let's take a look at Econ Cruise page. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and blank the lower ICAS. Okay, numbers in magenta are what's active. 50200 is what we're flying at currently. It's using indicated airspeed for our cruise speed, 300 knots. Top of descent is 51 miles, estimating a 0347. So about 7 minutes from now. Okay, looks like we're getting pretty close. Take a quick look at the progress page. So it's estimating Kotzebue at 0404, about 24 minutes from now. $112 miles to go, estimating 6,000 pounds of fuel at our destination. Let's go back to the cruise page. Okay, there's LNAV path. Let's see if it'll engage for us. Yep, it's going to intercept at the. It's in rectangle here while it's in the process of intercepting. You can see the white double yellow line here. Almost waited too long there. So it's going to, yeah, pretty aggressive turn towards it. I didn't want to really wait that long, but okay, so it has captured it. So that's good. So there's our first waypoint setup, and from there our next waypoint is actually on the approach course. Next side. So 12 minutes so far into the flight. I'm going to take a look here at our calibration page. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, I started experiencing the autopilot doing uncommanded, kind of very shallow turns, and what I thought was rolling. And really, what's happening is we were getting yaw, and the best I can figure out, it's by actually a joystick that's doing it. And these numbers here were going back and forth, going to minus something and then up to something. And so I ended up setting this number here, 25, which seemed to null it all out. But then it got these numbers end up being 0. And right now, we're still getting it just ever so slightly. So I'm going to up this up a couple points. Let's try 28. And what happened is that these turned to 0. That may take place, I don't know. But you can see the control wheel just ever so slightly making turns. Okay, so our top of descent is in 20 miles. Setup is in 52 miles. So far, looking pretty good. I did set a fairly higher cost index. I think it was 133. I usually set 100 or less. And we can see the commanded, and because of that, our ground speed is only 394 knots. But for this shorter flight, I'm not going to lose any sleep. So, in preparation for the top of descent, let's see, I'm not sure if it's still in Aviator. Nope. So P, AOT is the identifier for Kotzebue. I'm going to bring up the, we'll be doing the ILS to runway 9. and we'll be able to see this later on because they'll be tracking it. But we'll be going from setup intersection to right here, NECSI, and then transitioning for this arc and flying straight in. The standard, I think it's a 250-foot decision height, AGL decision height, 263. You need the RVR 5,000 or mile. And the arc can be done at 2,000 or 1,600 is the lowest, which the FMC knows about. So I don't know. I may set that, but that altitude in FMC, it's a fairly short approach, so that may end up being the case. So let's see, top of descent now is less than 20 miles. What's it, 15 miles now? 0347 is about 2 minutes. So for VNAV to do its thing, I'm going to go ahead and set. It'll probably in real life be getting a lower intermediate altitude. Right now I'm just going to set 4,000. So our VNAV can do its thing. Okay, 17 miles. Well, that's interesting. Now it's decided to pick up the speed. It's now commanding 335. Ooh, that's not what I see in the cruise page. I still see 300 knots commanded. I don't know where the 335 was coming from. Unless it's anticipating the descent. Yeah, that's why. It's commanding, because we're getting close, top of descent, it's commanding 335. That's why. Okay, we have 7 miles to go. That's why it's picked up the speed. So that's going to be our descent speed. Okay, top of descent here is now 5 miles. Up to 438 knots. Well, you know, you do go faster when you point the nose down with the same, everything else staying the same. Okay, actually, we're just about to start. Let me just confirm and verify. Okay, there it is. There's our top of descent. So we're going to stay on the path. FMC is now commanded retard. Now it's armed. So we're heading on down 2,800 feet a minute. It's probably going to require some drag. I'm going to run the scale in a little bit. I'm going to take a quick look at the hardware page. I'm just real curious to see. I'll see it's still there. Interesting. Okay, well, actually, while I'm there, let's go ahead and do a descent message.
Hello, gentlemen. Once again, tell me if flight deck here, on our descent. Seatbelt signs coming back from our arrival. If you're up and about, please turn your seat, fasten your seatbelts. Still showing well ahead of schedule. Thanks again. Hope you have a nice week. Have you on here very shortly.
Okay. Need to go back to local pressure. Okay, according to the VPI, vertical path indicator, we're just catching up with it. In fact, it's close enough to, we don't see any numbers there. Well, at this point, I probably won't bother with any spoilers. I do want to get them armed, which they are now armed for descent. And let's go to the approach ref page. Do that by clicking on iNet ref. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my WebFMC readout. There it is. Our landing weight will be 105,600 pounds. We can use flaps 15, 30, or 40 for landing. Now let's go ahead and bring the view down so it makes it easier for you to see. But I am commanding this via my WebFMC. I'm going to go ahead and select 30 degrees, so 126 will be our ref. And click it again. That'll put it down on the airspeed tape. You can see the ILS, it knows about 110.7 is the frequency, and 089 is the inbound course. It gets all that by giving it that information during the pre-flight on our departure arrival, so it knows all that information. All right, let's go back to the legs page. Okay, and I don't see any drag required message. So far, looking good. Okay, 10,000. That's retarding because we have to slow down to 250. Actually, it's going to slow to 240 as we get near 10,000. So it knows it wants to keep descending, but also knows we need to slow. So that's why we're kind of doing both. It's retarding the descent rate so we can get down to speed. Actually, I'm kind of surprised. This usually does a better job than this, but as you can see, we're getting pretty close to 10,000. Still 30 or 40 knots on the fast side. Okay, any CSI, the first fix on the approach is our current waypoint, 14 miles to it. FMC does know that 1,600 feet is the lowest we can go. That's on the arc. It's estimating 7,197 or 37 feet at Neski. That's kind of on the high side, but it's pretty smart. It knows how to figure out these things. I'm going to go ahead and set the. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and set 1,600 on the MCP. Still 11 miles to go to Neski, Nexi, NECSI. So it's going to do, and then it's going to fly the arc, and then it'll pick up an intercept heading of, according to what we see there, it's a 059 course once we start turning inbound. You can see the arc here. And we are slowing down to our FMC commanded speed of 240. I'm going to go ahead and give a for landing message.
Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for landing.
And there's a nice cabin announcement here coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our ground descent for landing, perhaps we take this opportunity to restore the cabin luggage and babies during the flight. In just a few moments, the flight attendants will be coming through to collect all remaining service items. Please assist your flight attendants by bringing all seat backs upright, returning tray tables to their secure position, and double check the security of your seatbelt. At this time, all electronic devices must be turned on and stowed. Thank you.
Okay, so heading through almost at 7,000, and it's pretty close. He's estimated 71. It's actually, see, it's turning. It's turning a little early. It leads the turn. So I'm gonna start putting some flaps out. Set flaps 1.
Down to flaps 1.
Now it does do flaps 1 and 2 nicely, but from there I'll have to do it myself. That's what I wanted to see. I want to see a slower speed commanded because we have to get down. And I could have intervened by putting in some different speeds and altitudes, but it's okay. We'll get down. So now it's commanded 169. Okay, we can see that's the ILS frequency here, or the ILS India Oscar Tango Zulu on this mode. And if we change to the VOR mode, we would see it also. But in order for it to actually tune and fly, we need to see it up here on the PFD, right up in this area. And then we'll know it's active, and then we'll switch the ND to the approach mode. Set flaps 2.
Down to flaps 2.
And that's as far as she's usually accurate. And so it's going to slow down to 159 knots as what it knows to be the speed for flaps 2. I go by the placard. We can go to flaps, I believe 5 up to 200, no, up to 2 up to 230 knots. So we're doing okay on flap extension. And I have not seen any sort of flap relief message. What would happen if we were too fast a speed? So what it's doing is it's flying this arc. You can see, well, it looks like a little outside of the arc. Let's take a quick look at the approach plate. Maybe it is a 12-mile DME arc. Oh, it is 12 DME. Okay. So that's us halfway through the arc right now. And we still need to get down. Come on, FMC. I don't know why it's descending so slowly. Okay, I'm going to go flaps 5, which will command a slower speed of 149. And that's good. I don't want to go any slower than that. Because our VREF is 126 and VREF plus 20 is what I like. Okay, and we're right at our flaps 5 speed, 149. So we'll be turning inbound here shortly. Okay, it just tuned the ILS frequency. I don't see glide slope yet. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the approach mode. And by the way, we are out over the water. The airport is right on the water. It's interesting. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and arm the localizer. I don't know why it's saying that. Oh, I'm not far enough. There we go. Ooh. My bad. I didn't go far enough on the approach on that ND selector there. So well, it's not surprising because we were high. Look at that. We're at 3,000 feet, 10 miles out. So I'm going to stay on LNAV. Okay, now it's increased descent rate. Okay, glide slope is coming up. We're capturing glide slope. I was going to go to heading select, but LNAV is still doing a reasonable job. We're a little less than 10 miles. Should be getting localizer here shortly. It's going to be a pretty sharp turn. I'm going to increase the bank angle here. See if I can find it. Nope, that's not it. Come on. So it can make a sharper turn if it needs to. Come on, localizer. See, the glide slope is, well, we're descending right now on glide slope, even though it doesn't show captured yet.
2,500.
My understanding is...
1,000 to go.
Roger. Okay, here she comes. Okay, now... So my understanding is that the glide slope really doesn't tend to get captured until the localizer is captured, and that makes sense. And that's what I thought was going to happen. It's, I gave it up to 20. I should have given it 30. But we're going to get there. It is captured, so we're not going to lose it. It's going to have to track back to our left. You can see their runways right off here. And this might be, you know, let's quit talking here, fly the airplane. Let's get the gear down. I could have used her to do that. Let's go flaps 15. I've noticed a lot of the outlying Alaska airports, even with a course of 089, the runway is 090, it still ends up off center. See, look, we're showing localizer pretty much dead on right now, and you can see the runway is off over this direction, extended center line. So it would not be real fun under a little stiffer IFR conditions. Okay, so I need to go flaps 25. So what I'm going to need to do here is I'm going to disconnect and get over to the center line. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and disarm auto throttle so I can match my physical throttle with it. Once again, 126 is our VREF. So I'm going to add a little bit of power here to
1,000.
1,000 feet, stabilized, Mr. Approach altitude set.
Roger, confirmed. Actually, it's not. 1,700 is Mr. Approach altitude, but I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go flaps 30.
Approaching 8.
This kind of reminds me, I don't know if anybody here is in the Washington area, but there's an airport on the west coast of Washington State that's called Hoquiam. It is red. This looks just like it.
500.
Okay, so let's get over to center line. Yes, I know.
400.
Stay on glide path here. Oh, easy.
300.
I'm trying to do too many things here.
200.
Come on.
100.
Okay, speed's a little slow.
50. 40.
It's okay, it's a short runway.
10.
5,000 feet remaining.
Okay, reverser's on.
knots. 80 knots.
Roger. Brakes applied. Reversers discontinued. Brakes released. Yes, thank you. Let's hear a cabin announcement.
Securely fastened until the aircraft is parked at the gate and the captain turns off the fasten seatbelt sign. At that time, please check your anticipated area for all your personal belongings brought on board through the day and use caution when opening the overhead compartment. Thanks for flying with us today. We hope you had a pleasant experience, so we look forward to serving you again. Thank you, and have a pleasant afternoon.
Okay, PNF is lowering our speed brakes and raising the flaps. I like to watch it happen. Well, yeah, got a little slow there. The way I have my controller set up, it's really difficult. My joystick is off to the left on a table off to my left, not in front of me, so it's difficult to do both. So I should have left a little more power. And with speed brakes so effective in braking, did not need to be as slow as I was. Okay, let's get this aircraft turned around. We don't have to go down the end here. Need to hold the speed up so we can carry it into the turn. That's close enough. Slow enough to pull the nose wheel off. See how we're doing. Well, that's pretty good. Give a little bit of power. I do have keyboard commands for throttle, and I could have used that on this approach, but I found that if you use that, it seems to then disengage, or it's the throttle on the physical. Then it needs to take over if you want to go back to it. So I don't know. Maybe on approaches I need to just use the keyboard. I'll stick with one. Okay, so what we need to do here is get all the lights off. First of all, you don't need any of these lights. And start switches can go back to auto. Actually, I think that's step you do after shutdown. Turn the strobes off. Wing lights can go off. And lastly, let's get the APU going. Waiting for the low pressure light. And hopefully I'm still on the taxiway. So this is Kotzebue, part 10 in our flights. Next flight will be back to Anchorage. So previous flight was from Anchorage to Nome, and we picked up folks in Nome that want to go to Anchorage, as well as folks that wanted to come here to Kotzebue. Now we're gonna do is pick up folks in Kotzebue that want to go to Anchorage. So we have both Nome and Kotzebue folks on board once we do part 11 of our Alaska Tours series of flights. I'm going plenty fast here. And this is the second time I've been in this airport. So the terminal is it's just off our right. This taxiway we're just passing here could get us there, but have to turn around. So I just go down here to the end of the runway. Take a look outside. So let's see. Oh, see? This is what I was talking about. I've got my physical throttle back to idle, but the keyboard is what's still in control. Whatever one you hit, that's what controls. But if you want to go back to the other one, then you have to make the change on the other input, keyboard or joystick. So I was wondering why we're taxing so fast. Well, because the keyboard has still commanded some power, even though I had the physical throttle. And from this point here, we can just go, it's pretty much a straight shot in to the terminal. Oh, I have no idea where that taxiway goes. Looks like there's another runway that direction. And by the way, this is an airport that Alaska currently services. And my thinking is they probably do a flight from Anchorage to Nome or something out to the west and then come here. I'd be real surprised if they do direct flights to here. So that brown building just to the right of the fuel truck is where we're going. See if I can get us there. Okay. So before we park and shut down, I'm going to set the parking brake. Let's take a look at that approach, see how it went. Okay, this is still an autopilot. I'm going to be canceling that out here shortly. Go to the outside view. This is the standard X-plane shift 4 view. I like using Chase View Deluxe CVD. And trying to get myself line on the runway. Not pretty, but that's what happens. We do a straight in ILS back to Anchorage, they won't have this issue at all. Well, didn't quite make center line. And I should have held speed a little higher. Okay, let's go back to real time. All right, let's go park this baby and let off anyone that's getting off. And we'll pick up a few folks and head to Anchorage, which will be our next flight. Now, looks like we can go straight in. Well, one of the surprising things, and it may be because of the terrain around it, but here at Kotzebue, this is pretty far out. The flights we did to Bethel and further up the north, that's about as far north you can go. But this is out there. It's got an ILS, and approach them in an airport like Juneau does not. It might have everything to do with the terrain. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway. Usually I will marshal myself in. Let's see how close I can get here. Okay, Alaska Airlines Alpha Bravo Flight 738 service from Nome, continuing service to Anchorage. Okay, first thing you want to do is get the APU generators online. Oops, it takes the engine-driven generators offline. That's why the lights illuminate. Second, let's go ahead and shut the engines down. Next, we'll go ahead and turn off the fasten seat. Oh, what happened here? I'll be darned. Nope, they're already off. So let's get the internal power set to APU generator. Let's get the window heat off. Hydrostatic heat off. Engine anti-ice off. We'll get, oops, stuck on it. Left pack stays on auto, right pack goes off. APU bleed goes on. Anti-collision light goes off. Okay, ground switches to, oops. No. We did right there. Okay, and electric hydraulic pumps off. Fuel pumps off. Clip left off. That'll fuel the APU. Last step we have to do is go ahead and terminate the flight leg. We'll get ground service coming. And last, open the doors here. Once they make their way over, you don't want to open the doors until the ramp is in place. Kotzebue. I have no idea how many people live here. I think the town is directly to the east. You can see it at the other end of the runway. Okay, here comes the ramp, so let's open that door. Forward service, let's open them all. Well, there's the terminal. All right, this looks like, never mind. Yeah, I did do what I thought I did. Oh, they're already loading us. That's what these guys do. We can assume they've already unloaded anybody's getting off, but probably not any people getting off at Kotzebue, especially from Nome. Okay. Well, that will do it for this recording and flight. Once again, the next destination will be here at Kotzebue, back to Anchorage. Let's see, that's going to be about 500 miles, I think. Maybe a bit more. It should be under 600 miles anyway. So that's the plan. So thanks so much for joining me on this flight. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly like making them. And we'll talk to you on our next flight. Bye-bye.